Discover how to create a home run worthy baseball shirt design in Adobe Photoshop. Throughout this tutorial, you will learn how to make 3D text using layer styles, how to add vector graphics and textures to give it a vintage look. My name is Ashley, and if you like what you see so far, don't forget to like and subscribe. You can also grab this template over on my Gumroad account. Links are below in the description box. Now, let's play ball. Let's get started. The first thing you want to do is create a new document. I am making my width 13 inches and my height will be 15 inches. Resolution should be 300 and your color mode should be RGB. Now I'm going to create a solid color layer and change this fill so that it is 12448F. So select your type tool. And I'm going to type out the name of my baseball team, and I'm going to type out Guardians. So select all of your text, and I'm going to change my font to Thirsty Script. Change the size to 126. And the color will be F59D03. So next we're going to add a glyph. So go to Window, Glyphs to bring up the Glyphs panel. And I will be using the font Dreamboat. And select bold. And now I'm going to select one of these glyphs so that it completely lines up with the length of my text. So you may have to choose a different glyph depending on the name of your baseball team. So go back over to your character panel and highlight your glyph. And I'm going to change my vertical scale so that it is 150. And then I will highlight the letter S and I will change the tracking so that it is -40. Now we're going to double click the Guardians text layer and we're going to add some layer styles. First off, we will start off with bevel and emboss. Change your technique to chisel hard. The depth will be 677%. Your size will be 24. Soften will be 12. For shading, uncheck Use Global Light and change your angle to 56 degrees and the altitude will be 26 degrees. And for gloss contour, use the second one in the first row. For highlight mode, change the opacity to 0%. Shadow mode should be color burn with an opacity of 61% and the color will be black. Now click on Contour. Change contours so that it is the second to last one in the second row and change the range to 92%. So next we are going to create multiple stroke layer styles. So for this very first one, the size will be 15 pixels. The position will be outside and the color will be white. So add another stroke layer. And for this one, the size will be 27. And the color will be 038 CF5. Now click on Inner Shadow. Change this color to 050607. The opacity will be 35%. The angle will be 138 degrees. The distance will be 1. And the size will be 2. Add another inner shadow layer. This blend mode will be normal. And the color will be 038 CF5. Change the opacity to 100%. For distance, change it to 23 pixels. And the size will be 2. Now we will add some drop shadow layer styles. For this first one, change the blend mode to normal. And the opacity will be 100% and change the color to 052 D6A. Change the distance to 63. And the size will be 2. Now we will add another drop shadow layer and change the distance to 93. Add another drop shadow layer and change the distance to 123. Add another drop shadow layer and change the distance to 153. And add one more drop shadow layer and change the distance to 183. And then click OK. This is how your text should look so far. Now take your Guardian's text and place it within its own folder or group, and you can rename your group. Now here I'm just highlighting it red to kind of keep everything organized as I go. So double click on this group and we will add a stroke layer. Change the size to 36. And the color will be 052 D6A. And then click OK. Now grab your type tool again and I will type out Line Drive Legends. Now make sure this text that you're typing remains within this group that we just created. So for the font, I will be using Cheddar Gothic Serif. I will change my font size to 80. My vertical scale will be 151%. And my tracking will be 40. Change the color to 12448F. Now we're going to warp our text. Change the style to arc, and the bend will be 29%. Change the vertical distortion to 10%. So now just move your layer right in the center of Guardians. Now select your Guardians layer and right-click, Copy Layer Style. And then select Line Drive Legends and right-click, Paste Layer Style. Double-click on the Line Drive Legends layer so that it brings up the Layer Style box, and here we will add a gradient overlay. So for my first color stop, I will be using the color F56403. And I will slide this one over to the right a bit. I will create another color stop, and this color will be F59D03. And then for my last color stop, use the color 5F9BF5. And then click OK. And so here I'm just adjusting it because I wanted to see a bit more of the orange at the bottom and the yellow to bleed through a bit more. So now we're going to add some elements to tie in the words Guardians and Line Drive Legends together a bit more. So first what we're going to do, we're going to go over to Illustrator, and I will open up my baseball file. So now I'm just bringing this over here to my pasteboard and getting rid of the elements that I don't need because I only want the white portion of the baseball. So you may have to double click some areas to get rid of it. So I'm getting rid of the outline as well. So now I will Command C, which is copy, and then Command V, which is paste this into my Photoshop file. Or you can also edit copy, edit paste. And then make sure you paste it as a smart object and resize it. And then also make sure you place the baseball within our Guardians group layer. So double click on the baseball. We're going to add a stroke to it and change the size to 36, and the color will be 052D6A. So now we're going to pop back over to Illustrator and open up our baseball bat graphic. So over here, I am changing the shadow color of my baseball bat to DF8F26 before I bring it over into Photoshop. And then changing the highlight area to the color white. So now I will copy and paste it over into my Photoshop document. And also, again, make sure your baseball bat is within the group folder. And rotate it so that it's at an angle. Rename your layer. And then duplicate this layer. I believe it's Command J, if I'm not mistaken, on your keyboard. And then we will edit free transform and flip it horizontal. So here I'm taking my baseball layer, I'm right clicking, copy paste, copy layer style, and then on my baseball bat I am right clicking, paste layer style. So now we are outside of the group folder, and I am going to take this here star and copy and paste it over. And then again, resize, I'm holding shift down on my keyboard so that the aspect ratio is consistent. And I'm going to duplicate this layer because I have 3 stars on one side and 3 stars on the other. And again, just duplicating those layers. And then I'll duplicate it one more time and place one in the middle underneath Line Drive Legends. So take all of your stars and place them within its own group. And here I am also just changing the color of the layer to keep everything organized. So double click this group and we are going to add a bevel and emboss. Change the depth to 188. The size will be 13. And then for the angle, change it to 138. And the altitude will be 30 degrees. So for screen, change the opacity to 50%. And the shadow mode will be multiply with an opacity of 97%. And the color will be 0068 ED. Now let's add a drop shadow. The color will be 052 D6A. The distance will be 15. And for contour, change it to the third to last one in the second row. Now we're going to add the year the baseball team was established, and I'm going to use 1995. So change your font color to 196 CE8. And the font I will be using is Job Clarendon. Change the font size to 49. And your vertical scale, return it back to 100%. And the tracking will be 220. And here I'm putting 19 on one side and 95 will go on the other. Now at the bottom, I'm just going to type out athletic department, but I will abbreviate department using the same color and font as 1995. Next, I'm going to type out the city that my baseball team is from, but first, make a circle using the ellipse tool. And now grab your type tool and click anywhere on the outside edge of the circle, and I will type out St. Louis. I will be using the font Cheddar Gothic Serif, and my font size will be 59. And change the color to white. And you can get rid of your circle. So now I'm just rotating it so that it's a bit more even. So I'm just doing edit free transform or Command T on your keyboard and rotating it. And then change your font color to white. So now I'm going to copy and paste my layer styles from stars and paste it onto St. Louis. And now at the bottom, I'm going to add a abbreviated St. Louis by just doing STL using the same font. And change your font size to 56. So here I'm just maneuvering my design so that it's a little bit more centered. So go back to Illustrator and we will now add a halftone pattern. So open up your halftone file. And then change the color to white. And then edit copy. And then edit paste it into your Photoshop file. So above your Guardian's text, paste this halftone. And rename the layer. And right click, create clipping mask. And then for the layer, change it to soft light and decrease the opacity to 50%. So now I'm popping back over to Illustrator, and in our file, I'm going to grab home plate. I will change the shadow portion of this home plate to F49D1E. And then change the outer edge to white. And then copy and paste the home plate over into your document. And I will place this right underneath St. Louis. And rename this layer as well. And then from stars, I will copy and paste the layer style. Now we need to make our shirt look a bit more vintage. So I'm going to take the entire design except for the blue background and place it within its own group. Now open up your texture file and bring it over into your document. Rotate it so that it covers your entire design. Change the layer name and right-click Create Clipping Mask. Change this layer to luminosity with an opacity of 16%. And then duplicate this layer and create clipping mask and change this layer to dissolve with an opacity of 16%. And that is how you create a vintage baseball. If you like what you saw today, make sure you like and subscribe and click that bell icon to be notified of every time I drop a new video. Thanks for watching.